Welcome to yet another exciting TechnoMag short YouTube video. Today we are so much honored to be joined by the newly appointed ICT Minister. And also on a different note, we are not talking business with Supa, but we are so much honored to be talking ICTs with Supa. Honorable Minister, we are greatly honored.
No, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for taking your time to just join us here on a short YouTube interview. You have been recently appointed new ICT Minister. You have, I think you've been managing to make a follow-up on your previous history. You have got an exposure with the broadcasting technologies and all that. But the new appointment as an ICT minister, what does this mean to you?
Well, I think that for me, coming from a position of Deputy Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services is a natural progression, because I think that there is quite some convergence between broadcasting and ICTs today.
Definitely.
And obviously my introduction to broadcasting and my background as a broadcaster myself, more in the forefront, helps to understand the industry of ICTs. So I'm totally humbled that His Excellency the President, Comrade G. Mugabe, decided that I should be elevated to this position. Of course, that means that there's a lot of expectation in terms of what we can deliver. So we have a lot of things that we are planning to do as a ministry, and obviously those things must impact on the lives of people, just as ICTs does in general, that it impacts positively on the lives of Zimbabwe. So I'm very excited as a minister to be heading this particular sector at this moment.
Did you ever dream that one day, Honorable, you'll be the minister, especially on ICT? I'm just looking at how you've managed to rise over a short time. You've been success after success, and today here we are, you are the new ICT minister. Ever dreamt that one day you'll be here? My
attitude has been that you must never aim to secure positions. You must always aim to deliver. So I never aimed to be in a position. I aimed to be at a certain level of delivery and commitment and contribution to the country. And it always is exciting when that performance is recognized by those that are in the position to recognize, like it has been done. I didn't wake up to say I wanted to be a minister. I woke up to say I wanted to save the people of Zimbabwe, do my own bit, be part of a generation that says the generation of His Excellency the President, Vice President Comrade Mnangagwa, and others is a generation that brought us independence, is the generation that has brought us economic independence by ensuring that the land reform program was carried out, ensuring that even the indigenization program was carried out, which gives us the right to the land, the right to all assets under the land was done. So I had to say, what is the role of our own generation? And I felt that our generation must come up to deliver economic prosperity on the basis of the foundation that the generation of President Robert Mugabe has done. And I chose to stand out and be counted in my constituents in Nyanga, be counted to represent the people. And out of that, I was recognized by the President and appointed as Deputy Minister, and now as the full Minister. So I've always aimed to perform, to deliver, to contribute to my country, to play a generational role, picking up from where our leaders have taken us so far.
Okay. Speaking on performing and delivering, Honorable Minister, yours is going to be a much more difficult job. Here you are as the new ICT Minister. Do we have any strategies, any new things that you have at your heart that you feel that you need to push and drive within the ministry or for the nation at large? I understand that especially ICT it's been one of the fastest developing sector worldwide, in Zimbabwe has been coming tops world over. Yours is a very difficult job. What strategies do you actually have plans to?
I actually don't believe that it's a difficult job. You have just highlighted on your own that ICT is one of the fastest growing industries in the world. Now, when you have any fastest growing industry in the world, it means it's a money making industry, it's a profit making industry.
Definitely.
So I don't have to do much as a minister. We have to allow the private sector to do the running. Now, what we just need to do as a ministry is to ensure that we create an enabling environment for the private sector to invest in ICTs and make money. We have to make sure that we have the right policies to ensure that we are protecting those industries, but we're also protecting consumers of the ICT services. And that's our key role. But we also have to promote the use of ICTs within government. to make sure that the government is not being left behind by this ICT revolution that is sweeping through the private sector and the global economy, basically. So we have a huge responsibility from an perspective. We have to push as a ministry in the adoption of e-government. And the Office of the President Cabinet is running with this in a big way. And as a ministry, we are responsible for putting the infrastructure on which every ministry must ride on in providing e-government services to the population of Zimbabwe.
How long do you think this may take? I think this has been an issue of worry to many people, especially with the other government arms as far as ICT is concerned.
It's happening now. It's happening now. You know, for e-government to work, you've got to have the backbone infrastructure in place. And one of the key backbone requirements for e-government work is connectivity, fiber optic connectivity. And we have Tel1, we have Liquid in the industry, we have PowerTel, we have Africom that have been deploying fiber in the country. And of course, it's been done haphazardly, and I believe that it's part of the ministry's mandate and role to make sure that there's some order in terms of deploying the backbone infrastructure, and we will be making pronouncements to that effect very soon. But more importantly, for e-government to work, you must have that basic infrastructure so that there's connectivity between point A and point B, between hospital A and hospital B, between Ministry of Agriculture Office A and Office B, between Clinic A and Clinic B, between Company B and Company A. There must be connectivity, and there is a rollout of fiber infrastructure going across the country. The second important thing you require is a national database, and that is already under construction. We have a national database currently being constructed, and by June the first components of it should be in place.
What is this that you're calling the national database exactly?
The national database is the central data center where all data come through. So for instance, Home Affairs will have all their data in one place. Which will allow for somebody who is sitting somewhere in London who wants to apply for a passport, not to get on a plane and fly to Zimbabwe, but to do it through the national data center once the infrastructure and the software is put in there. Right now, I can tell you very shortly we will be launching as pilot for the e-government a system that allows people to apply for liquor licenses online using the e-government infrastructure. Now, what has been happening is that somebody in Cholocho, somebody in Yamaropa and Nyanga, if they want to apply for a liquor license, they have to get on a bus to come to Harare to apply for a liquor license. But it will now be done online using the infrastructure and pretty much under the whole concept of e-government. Now, more services are going to be deployed as a result. We are working right now on linking provincial hospitals to Pararenyatwa Hospital and linking Pararenyatwa hospitals with hospitals in India to ensure that if an X-ray is taken at a hospital in Gweru and there is no capacity there to read and understand this, the X-ray, some X-ray can be sent to Harare, the guys can decode what it means within a very short space of time. The feedback is already sent back, there's this problem, that problem, and things are done that way. So we are already in the process of deploying this infrastructure around telemedicine. So there are a lot of things that you're going to see happening. But my passion is to ensure that all the ICTs we deploy in this country make the life of the Zimbabwean people much better, and they become less expensive in terms of when you deliver a government service, those services must be affordable, they must be efficient, and that's what we must deliver through ICTs.
I think, interestingly, speaking on that point of delivering and making sure they're also affordable for the general mass, I think this year we've noticed that I think it's the talk of the town. The tariffs on mobile across all mobile networks, it was greatly reduced, much to the joy of the subscriber. Do we expect probably maybe the same shake-up, especially on the database? I think there's been a lot of focus and interest on the voice tariffs. Which definitely greatly they were greatly reduced. Are we going to be expecting that or see probably another reduction or change?
I actually think it was problematic for the industry with Potras to work on a framework for pricing only on voice, when voice is actually a dying revenue center for mobile networks. In fact, data is actually on the increase, and that's where we are actually having the biggest cost. As you will appreciate, the whole idea around reducing cost is a government initiative to say it must be easy for businesses to operate. We need to reduce costs that make doing business in Zimbabwe expensive. Now, business don't use much voice these days. They use data. And that's where we need to make an impact. And I think that the regulator was hoodwinked by the networks not to focus on data, which is the growing revenue center for networks. And we are going to have to go there. We need data costs lower. In fact, the most expensive telecom service in this country is data, and that's where we need to make an impact, because when we impact there, we actually make it cheaper for businesses to do business in this country.
Okay, very sad. Maybe last, just before we close down, I think we've been having a talk about the new ICT policy. Honorable Minister, where are we? What are we doing with the new ICT policy? Do we expect the final? When do you expect the final ICT policy to be out there?
What we are working on right now is that by end of next month, I should have taken the ICT policy, revised ICT policy after consultations to cabinet for discussion and hopefully adoption. We think that in a growing ICT industry in the country, where ICTs are rapidly growing, reports of abuse of the internet, abuse of mobile phones, people using their WhatsApp to circulate abusive messages and all sorts of things, revenge pornography. We need a solution to this kind of things. And people hacking into banks on people's accounts or taking other people's data.
There's no legal framework.
There's no legal framework to deal with this. And so this is very urgent and a top priority for the ministry. So as I was addressing senior officials in the ministry, that's one of the urgent things that need to happen now. And we have comfort that by end of March we would have presented something to cabinet on this matter.
Insightful. Honorable Minister, maybe your last words to our YouTube viewers there just before we shut down this show.
Okay, no, I just want to thank you. TechnoMag has been doing a great deal in terms of focusing on ICTs in the country, and we do need a service like yours, and I believe that you are in the right sport. This is a growing industry and you will grow with it, and well done and congratulations. Thank you.
Talking ICTs with Honorable Supa Mandiwanzira. This is www.technomag.co.zw. Thank you so much for taking your time to join us here. Thank you.